progress. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Evansville. I'm Tom Moore, the worship leader. I'd like to begin with a thought experiment. One for you, Bill. What's another word for thesaurus? Did you get it? Yeah, okay, that works. Thesaurus. What's another word for thesaurus? Anyway, I'd like to begin our service by singing hymn 1008 in the Teal hymnal. So stand if you're willing and able, and we will sing that together. Again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Evansville. Whoever you are, however you got here, all of you is welcome. I'd like to ask now if there are any church announcements that need to be made.
Just a reminder that this coming Friday at 6, we have a family game night. We'll have games for all ages. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you.
We'll have snacks too.
Also, that will be our time to fix the dinner at United Caring Services. Chris is not here. He may be here later, so if you plan to help out, let him know, please. I have one. I'm also going to make a presentation to Steve because he had something to do with this. I know this story is not nearly as fun as Mark's lawnmower, but Friday afternoon, we closed on the house on Oregon Street. Everything. It's originally I wasn't involved, but it turned out that I had the only key that anybody knew. So I had to go and give the key, and when I got the key, I got the money from the owner is Vince Robinson, and I got to meet him. Anyway, he had a check that he endorsed and is given to us, and it is more than I thought we were going to get. So, Steve, hold on to your pants. It's $4,971.42. So for, and I want to present this check to you. No, put it in or any other activity you feel like you can get away with. But anyway, it's done, it's closed. For whatever reason, this couple bought it. And again, I was thinking it was going to be in the $2,000 or $3,000 range, but anyway, good for us, good for them. They seem happy. And again, we do not have to discuss it ever again. So anyway, that's done. Any other announcements here this morning? Okay, I see no visitors, so I'm not going to go through the visitor thing, but let's take a minute to stand up, move around. At least, the statistics of isolation and despair are staggering and depressing, but at least we can model some way to stand up and connect with each other. So let's take a few minutes and do that. And also, those online, we can't do that, but hopefully our energy will go that way.
I am so sorry. I didn't make the board meeting. I was making something for the girls. I got a couple of times, and then I thought, my brain is not functioning. So 10 till 7, I went to get on, and I realized, wait, 6 and 7, I just
Got here just in time for hugs. A whole lot more than you've got more done. I worked 20 hours. I got nothing done. You got it done. I didn't have to work how long. My granddaughter. I was stubborn.
Thank you, Bill. Now with Unitarian Universalist churches worldwide, we're going to light our chalice. If I could have a volunteer, please. Thank you, Solomon. These words are by Kathleen Mateague. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence together. Thank you. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. And just a word before we do that, every third Sunday we do take a plate share, which is any cash in the plate that's not designated as a pledge. And this week it's going to the crop walk, and David Fentress is our crop person. There is a walk and you give people pledges, and the money goes to Church World Service for hunger relief and development across the world, and they are legit. So when you see David next week or the weeks after, I think the walk is the 28th, if you want to support him or join him, he has all the information for that. So if I could have 2 volunteers to pass the plate, please. Thank you for those gifts. We trust they will be put to wise and judicious use, and thank you for all the ways you support the life and work of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Evansville. And now Amanda will read for us a story for all ages. Okay, or Solomon. Cool, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Or you can just take it out.
Hello there. So the book is Ada Potato by Judith Casserly. Ada wanted to be in the bandistra. At school, that's what they called a band that had violins. Ada had to pick an instrument. Mama and Ada read through the names: clarinet, trumpet, trombone, flute. A flute sounds nice, said Ada. Mr. Linney, the music teacher, gave her a flute to try. Ada practiced pursing her lips. She blew and blew, but she couldn't make a sound. We need a cello, said the music teacher. Mama picked Ada up at school the next day. You may be able to play it, dear, she said, but you can't carry it. They went into the music room and looked around. How about a violin? Asked Mama. It's small and it sounds pretty. Ada took home the violin. It looked so nice in its black case with purple velvet lining. At first, she could only make squeaky noises. Papa put on earmuffs, and the cat ran and hid in the closet. Ada's sister Ellen said, "When you play, you get a double chin, ha ha." Mama listened as she chopped vegetables for supper. In a few weeks, Mr. Linney taught Ada to play a simple song. While Ada practiced, the cat sat and watched. Papa read his book. Mama chopped carrots in time to the music. You still have a double chin, said Ellen, but she hummed along. Every Wednesday, the bandistra had rehearsal. At first, Ada was afraid to play. Her hand shook when she turned the page. Once, she kicked the music stand over, and she played so hard that the bow poked Debbie, the flutist, in the arm. But Ada liked playing in the bandistra. She watched Mr. Lenny wave his baton. She tried to play on time. She tried to stop on time, too. Once a week, Ada carried her violin to school. She had to walk through the tunnel, which went under the railroad tracks. Ada hated the tunnel. It was dark and smelly. Some of the older kids gathered there and wrote on the walls and made rude noises. One day, Ada entered the tunnel carrying her violin. "Hey, Ada, hurry up," called Polly from the other end. "Hey, Ada," said a boy with hair like a mohawk. "Is that a machine gun? Are you going to shoot me?" His friends laughed, and one girl snatched at the violin case. "Ada Potato," she yelled. "Machine Gun Ada, queen of the mob." "Give me back my violin," said Ada, and she grabbed it and ran. But the next week, the same thing happened, and the Wednesday after that. The following Wednesday morning, Ada put her violin in the closet and shut the door. When she came to the tunnel, she ran through and didn't look back. She stayed away from bandistra. She stopped playing the violin. "Ada," said Mama, "I need your music to chop pie." Ada didn't smile. "What's wrong?" asked Mama. Ada told Mama about the crowd in the tunnel. "It's awful when people make fun of you," said Mama. "When I was young, my friends called me Dottie, but one boy started calling me Polka Dot, and it stuck." "What did you do?" asked Ada. "I came in one day with polka dots pasted all over me," said Mama. "Everyone laughed, but they stopped calling me Polka Dot." The next day, Ada saw Polly and Debbie at school. "We miss you at bandistra," said Debbie. "Where have you been?" Ada told them about the tunnel. "They call me Ada Potato and make fun of my violin," said Ada, "but I have an idea." The following morning, Polly and Debbie met at Ada's house. "We'll show them," said Polly, and they took out their instruments and piled the cases into Ellen's wagon. Then they all walked to school. They reached the tunnel. "Here comes Ada Potato, queen of the mob," the boy with the mohawk yelled, and his friends laughed. Ada said 1, 2, 3, and they started to play. They marched through the tunnel playing. When the saints come marching in very loudly, it sounded great in the tunnel. The boy with the mohawk began to laugh. His friends laughed too. Then they followed Ada to school, marching in time to the music. After school, Ada went home. "Hi, Polka Dot Mama," said Ada, and she told her what had happened. Mama laughed. "Well done, Ada Potato," she said. "That's my girl." Then Mama chopped vegetables and listened to Ada play. Thank you for listening.
We're singing the children out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of Christ surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Thank you, Solomon. Appreciate that a lot. Our opening words this morning are by Pema Chodron, who is, I think she's still alive, is a Buddhist nun, and her monastery is in Nova Scotia, I believe. She's one of the wise women of our time, and she was a wise woman when she wrote this. And there's a theme here I want to pick up later for our reflection. Buddhists are killing me these days. I keep running across Buddhist material that seems to speak to us. On the night on which he was to attain enlightenment, the Buddha sat under a tree. While he was sitting there, he was attacked by the forces of Mara. The story goes that they shot swords and arrows at him and that their weapons turned into flowers. What does this story mean? My understanding of it is that what we habitually regard as obstacles are not really our enemies, but rather our friends. What we call obstacles are really the way the world and our entire experience teach us where we're stuck. What may appear to be an arrow or a sword, we can actually experience as a flower. Whether we experience what happens to us as an obstacle and enemy or as a teacher and friend depends entirely upon our perception of reality. It depends on our relationship with ourselves. The teachings tell us that obstacles occur at the outer level and at the inner level. In this context, the outer level is the sense that something or somebody has harmed us, interfering with the harmony and peace we thought was ours. Some rascal has raised it all, has ruined it all. This particular sense of obstacle occurs in for the inner level of obstacle, perhaps nothing ever really attacks us except our own confusion. Perhaps there is no solid obstacle except our own need to protect ourselves from being touched. Maybe the only enemy is that we don't like the way reality is now and therefore wish it would go away fast. But what we find as practitioners is that nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. If we run 100 miles an hour in the other end of the continent in order to get away from the obstacle, we find the very same problem waiting for us when we arrive. It just keeps returning with new names, forms, and manifestations until we learn whatever it has to teach us about where we are separating ourselves from reality, how we are pulling back instead of opening up, closing down instead of allowing ourselves to experience fully whatever we encounter without hesitating or retreating into ourselves. In our community, we take a few moments each week to share our stories. Every story is important. And we do that by, I will put one pebble in the bowl for all those unspoken concerns. And now we would take a few moments of quiet time, in which case you can pray, meditate, or simply enjoy the silence. And we will break that after a few moments by singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. I wanted to share just a few thoughts this morning about church. And the reading from Pima Chodron was real individualistic, and I think though I liked it a lot and I learned from it, in the context of what I'm reflecting on this morning, I think obstacle is a little severe. But what I do want to raise up is what kicked off in me was the notion of opportunity, that, you know, in the reading, that what we think might be an obstacle or a threat, or some perceived threat, if we're conscious and change our thinking, could actually be an opportunity. And it made me think of church, our church, and churches in general. When I pass two conservative Protestant churches coming here to go to get my coffee, I pass three mainline churches, and I wonder sometimes why churches exist. And there are about every 5 years in clergy and denominational musings about what the future of church is and restructuring church and things like that. But I think about us here and what might be opportunities for us. And this is no shame or blame or anything, or a reflection that there's something we should do or should not do, or we'd be better people if we did it. It's nothing like that at all, but it's just, and I'm just going to invite you to think about this as well. We're, in my opinion anyway, we're a rich church. You know, we're not large, but we're rich. We have lots of assets. We have this building, the property next door, Chalice House. That's a lot of real estate and a lot of land. And apparently, we're doing pretty well financially right now. And my only question is, with that much asset, are there opportunities that we can open up to as a congregation? Are there other ways, you know, we can use our building? Are there groups we can invite in? What do we do with our money? You know, again, we just got almost $5,000 out of the blue this morning. What are all the ways we might be able to do that? And what would they be in terms of reflecting our principles? It's just a question. Again, we've got land, we've got some money. How might we offer that to the community? You know, can we? I'm thinking. These are just thoughts, and please, not every thought is a good thought. Not every idea is a good idea. We're fixing to come up on the holiday season, which is a depressing notion to me personally, but when we're on Morgan Avenue and people are going to be going to the mall from Black Friday on. I mean, and I'm thinking, what if on Saturdays we opened up and had chamomile tea to calm everybody down and just invited them to come and sit down and take a break? Is that something realistic we can do? And or, you know, there may be a gazillion ways we can offer our space and our resources to do things. And again, it's not that we don't do good things, or that it's not a shame or blame thing, but just to reflect for a moment, what are the opportunities that we do have, even for a congregation our size. But again, we've got resources here, and just reflect about how are there opportunities that we can capitalize on. You know, you've got massive amount of brain power here. I know there are a couple of notions in the work. We have a great space for theater. Sharon's put on plays here. Can we do more of that? I've been lucky enough to be introduced to the theater community lately, and there's lots of creativity. We have a space for music. What if we did music things? What if, for the myriad issues that, in my opinion, are very complex, that get reduced to simplistic notions on either side, that we had civil, deep discussions around those issues. We had a space for that. I'm a member of the local Veterans for Peace, and since COVID, that group's been more online and scattered, and I'm trying to get in touch with people and offer our space here for a regular meeting as long as we can schedule it. I know we do drum circle, but there may be some other celebrations we could do. How can we use our vacant lot? What if, we just did some fun things? What if we had horseshoes or trunk or treat, surely. Craft fairs when the weather's good, which could also be a fundraising thing for us. Not that, but when the weather's nice. Plus, it would get people here, and we could use our bathroom facilities and things like that. Or it is a realistic notion to figure out what our human power is to staff things, and I'm not suggesting that we burn ourselves out on those kinds of things, but there may be other people that we could convince to do stuff so our staffing wouldn't burn us out or whatever. But I guess given the notion of taking opportunity, and also just the consciousness that we're a rich congregation. We are a rich congregation. And let's just think about what opportunities we might have. That's it. Yes.
I like all your ideas, Tom. They sound great. It seems to me the truth is always how can we promote it and get the word out.
Right.
One of those.
Yeah. Oh, please. Well, if you want, I'm not. I just want to lay the question out and ask you to think about it. That's all. When I pass, well, even all the churches I pass, most of the time they're empty. And research tends to show still that people are not going to church like they used to. So someday soon we're going to have all these empty or near empty church buildings. What's a good use for those? What can, I can't speak for other congregations, but certainly here, again, and not every idea is a good idea, but maybe we can have a brainstorming group or whatever and just try some stuff. If it doesn't work, let it go. We don't have to be committed to anything.
I can't remember exactly what was done. I think 5 or 6 years ago, we did something to open up, and we had a great turnout.
I can't. That could very well be. I have no memory of that, which doesn't mean it didn't. Yeah, please. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I just don't have a memory of it.
I like the idea of having a group to talk about it. I mean, I have some ideas.
Sure.
We used to do more, like you said, we used to have speakers sometimes at the library, sometimes here, sometimes
Yeah.
we had a couple of theatrical events here. That all stopped with COVID.
Tom, we can't hear, and it's not getting recorded for the video, anything people in the audience are saying.
That's my bad, Molly, I'm sorry. No. I'll take the blame because I forgot to ask people to do it.
This actually works better than the other one did for height. I like the idea of having just, planning a day where we can just sit and talk about some ideas. I certainly have some ideas. We've been bouncing things around, and we used to do more of that kind of thing. It all stopped with COVID, obviously, and we've been pulling our way slowly back, as have most other people. And maybe it's time to just sit and think, okay, where can we go from here? What can we do from here? There are certainly a couple of plays I have in mind. The idea of stage readings has come up. I mean, these things have been kind of bounced around a little bit, but they take a lot of time as well as resources, and we can't just say, like they did in the old movies, let's have a play and we can make money. It doesn't work that way. Plays are expensive to put on and take, months and months worth of effort. But a band competition, we had a comedian in here one time. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things. But generally, they were well attended. So that's good. But I'm not going to play in the circle. I'm going to be out of town for a while.
Well, we put it on board agenda, I can do that. But again,
But I'm going to interrupt that thought to say that I am also going to be directing a play in Newburgh. It is going to go up in March, and we're going to start working on it in December. So just kicking that idea out there since I had the opportunity.
Cool. Okay, well, given the time, there's one on the same theme, though there's one, back in May, I think it was, the diocese, Catholic diocese observes World Day of Prayer, which I think is May 4th, and they invite me to come to represent the Unitarians. And that morning, I woke up to the news, and I think there were two mass shootings. One, somebody went to a doctor's office in Atlanta, and there was one other place, and I think the body count wasn't super huge, but it was just another one of those stories. And somebody, and I don't know who, because I wish I could credit, the person said in some discussion around that as a culture, we face a crisis in meaning, which leads to mental illness, for which we seek political solutions. And I think part of that has to do with spiritual matters, and that gap there is the perfect place for communities of faith to step in. And again, I'm not smart enough to know the solutions, but I just think in terms of a culture that seems to be adrift, that our resources in our space, through art, through music, through discussion, through fun, just having some fun, is a place for us to actualize our faith values and our principles. What that is, again, I'm not sure, but if we don't ask the question and we don't spend some time looking at it, and we also take the time to figure out what's realistic and what's not, to me, those are opportunities for a small but rich congregation. So on that note, unless there's anything else, anybody online have anything to say? Hearing none. Our final hymn is number 18 in the gray hymnal. Stand if you're willing and able, and let's sing together What Wondrous Love. Oh, my soul, this love is mine. If you'd remain standing, please, and repeat the words in the bulletin as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame. The community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts till we are together again. Our final words are also by Pema Chodron. Without the Maras, would the Buddha have awakened? Would he have attained enlightenment without them? Weren't they his best friends, since they showed him who he was and what was true? All Maras point to the way of being completely awake and alive by letting go, by letting ourselves die moment after moment at the end of each out-breath. When we wake up, we can live fully without seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, without recreating ourselves when we fall apart. We can let ourselves feel our emotions as hot or cold, vibrating or smooth, instead of using our emotions to keep ourselves ignorant and dumb. We can give up on being perfect and experience each moment to the fullest. Trying to run away is never the answer to being a fully human being. Running away from the immediacy of our experience is like preferring death to life. Thank you for your participation this morning. Go in peace and let your living bless the world.